Well, everyone, one thing I can definitely tell you about iOS 18.6 is that these types of updates and these types of changes, for the most part, are definitely going to be able to go through and bring a lot of cool changes to the table. Here's the thing with iOS 18.6, right? Even though it's only been out for like a beta for like 1 week, I think Apple going through and publishing these betas and making these types of improvements are really important, and I am a really big fan of it, right? But here's the problem. Here's the biggest problem out of all of them. Apple needs to go through and give us way more updates and way more changes more often than they are doing right now. The problem that we're kind of in right now is that Apple's going through and giving us like, a couple of updates here and there, but they're not really keeping these updates going, and they're not sustaining these updates. That's kind of the big problem that we're running into here, like over and over and over again. It's like every other, couple of weeks we get a new beta, but then Apple's not actually giving us like these big sustainable updates that are actually fixing and improving these types of changes. So the problem that we're running into here is that when you're going through and kind of making these types of updates, you kind of need to have these types of, updates that bring more things to the table, more security updates, things like that. And we're really not getting that here inside of this type of, device. So if I were Apple and if I were to suggest them something, I think the best thing Apple can do right now is to just go through and just basically release iOS 18.5.1, make an iOS 18.5.1 and release it. Then make an iOS 18.5.2, release that. Keep iteratively fixing these types of changes. Don't just give us 18.5, then a month later give us 18.6, and then a month later give us 18.6.1, and then a month later give us 18.7. We don't want that anymore. That is why iOS is not making as many improvements as they could be. Release these types of updates and changes as often as you can. Make little small iterative updates. If the Mail app is still not working, fix that. If the keyboard's still not working, fix that. If this is still not working, fix that. There's no reason. Apple has a ton of engineers working on these things. There's no reason why they can't just have an engineering team dedicated on just making these software updates, security updates like they used to. iOS 17 was fairly stable, and that had a bunch of updates in between. So I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. Let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.